Hi, my name is Kat and I've recently been asked by Divecrew to do a little question and answer session for you guys while we're all stuck inside. Charlotte, who works there, who you've probably met before, sent me over a little list of questions that you guys asked, and I am here to answer them, and I hope that you enjoy my answers and it doesn't leave you with too many further questions. So without further ado, the first question is, what initially got you interested in working with sharks? They aren't the first animal that people would ideally want to work with, which I know to be true now, but until I started working with sharks it never actually occurred to me that they were even slightly dangerous. I never watched Jaws growing up, which I know is a massive thing about why people are scared of sharks. A lot of people have, oh, I saw Jaws when I was younger and it scared me to death. I don't ever remember thinking sharks were dangerous. And the first time I worked with them, I was actually doing, the first time I saw one actually, I was doing research in Cuba with a company called Operation Wallacea. I was volunteering over summer in my break at university, and we were tagging them to look at their movements around the marine protected area. And they've just never been scary to me. Since I started working with them, now I get a lot of people asking questions like this, you know, you must be so brave, blah 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 blah. But I've always had positive reinforcement that they're friendly creatures and that they need saving and that the media's mean to them, without really seeing much of the media being mean to them until I started doing research. So I've always had a positive mindset for the sharks, which I guess is just a lucky thing for me. Okay, question 2 that I have here is, what is your favourite shark? Which I have to admit is not my favourite question, because I feel like I'm picking a favourite child because I love all sharks. Hammerheads are a shark that I've always been really interested in, but I've only seen them twice. Once was a hammerhead and a whale shark at the same time, and once they were super far away, and it was only 5 of them, so I feel like I'm cheating if I say hammerheads are my favourite. Also whale sharks I absolutely love. They were the first species that I worked in the water with, so I really love those, and the same with blue sharks. They were the first species that I really felt like a scientist properly when I was working with them. And then there's also tiger sharks, who are absolutely beautiful, but I also love the way other species respond when a tiger shark arrives to a dive site, or to, you know, the scene of the crime. Because the tiger shark isn't the first thing you see. You suddenly see all the other sharks scattering because they respect this apex predator so much. They're like, oh, give her space, and they disappear off. So you don't see the tiger shark, you see everything else disappearing, and you think, oh, there's a shark somewhere, and you have to find it, which I just absolutely love that experience. So for that reason, maybe tiger sharks. Then also cat sharks are amazing because that is my Instagram username and my name is Kat. Pajama cat sharks are absolutely adorable. But in summary, I don't have a favourite shark and they're all incredible, and that is okay. Question 3. What did you find most challenging during your master's degree? So I did my master's at the University of Algarve in Portugal. So there was a bit of a language barrier, which was fine in lectures, but it was kind of getting accustomed to a new language at the same time as getting accustomed to a new campus way of life and learning all the materials, which was quite a challenge. But to be honest, on top of that, on top of anything that I've ever found challenging in my life, statistics, I'm not good at statistics. I really struggle. Everything that I've done in life has been because I'm passionate about the ocean and not because I'm naturally intelligent at all. And my thesis, I enjoyed it so much. My thesis studied how drones can be used to study sharks in shallow water, in shallow tropical waters where the water's really clear. And I enjoyed the data collection so much, and I enjoyed writing my thesis so much, but when it came to the statistics, it was just such a struggle. I kept putting it off and procrastinating, and I'm not made to do maths, and that's a massive challenge for me. Question 3. What did some of your classmates do after graduating? A lot of my classmates did a lot of different things. There are 200 of us, 196 I think, like as many of us as there are countries in the world. So people split off and did different things. A lot of people carried on into research, into whatever they had been researching. I know with my masters, a lot of people stayed on and did PhDs over there. Some of my friends, some of my other friends got really into photography and videography and have gone down the conservation path in that regard. And then I also have a lot of friends working in tourism. So I have friends currently working, well not currently because the world, but working in the Bahamas, Maldives, Australia, Cambodia, I was going to say Australia again, New Zealand, all over. There's a lot of different things. If you're willing to move and relocate your life a little bit, then there is a lot of work everywhere. And then I also know quite a few people in England from my undergraduate who are working in aquaculture, fisheries and policy writing, which it's so interesting to see how many different people can do different things. But if you are looking for career options, there's so many out there. If there's something you're particularly passionate about, there will be something that you're able to form into a career. Number 5, how long can you freedive for at any one time, and how did you train to get to this time? So with freediving, with actual training, we have what's called a static breath hold, which is you're not diving underwater and using energy or anything. Literally the goal is to hold your breath for as long as possible. So you are lying face down in a swimming pool, or the smoothest, calmest water that you can find. We had woggles, which like little inflatables you float on face down, and you just are trying to be as calm as possible. For that, I can hold my breath for 5 minutes and 34 seconds. Don't forget the 4 seconds, which I'm really, really happy with. And that, just training to get to that is just doing it quite often. It's really, really easy. I like to do 2 warm-ups. I do one warm-up of holding my breath for about 2 minutes, and then one trying to go for holding my breath for as long as possible, and then the third time, that's when I'm really, really going for the record. And that, if I can hold my breath for up to 5.5 minutes, that's maximum going to take about 15 minutes. So in training facilities, I trained a lot in the Philippines. We had a pool, so just every day keeping up with practicing that all the time, and also just becoming more and more comfortable with your buddy and with your partner, because they actually can often, that's the word I was looking for, tell how you're doing better than you can. So in my case, I had a girl called Sarah who could see that I wanted to come up. You have little signals. I was putting my hand and getting ready to bring my head up, and she was essentially delivering death threats and saying that if I started to come up, she was going to hold my head down, because she could see that I actually was more comfortable than on certain other dives. So learning to trust the confidence that your partner has in you is really, really useful. And then on top of that, just practicing in the water and having a lot of fun in the water. I know that when I'm just diving around for fun and staying underwater for as long as I can, around coral reefs and that sort of thing, I can usually hold my breath for about 3 to 4 minutes, and that's basically just distraction techniques. So if you give me a camera and I want to take a good photo, or if I have to do tagging sharks at all, then usually that I can stay down really long. Whereas if I'm just trying to hold my breath and thinking about it, all I'm thinking about is wanting to breathe. So distraction techniques are really, really useful. Number 6, last question. Were you ever scared of travelling to all these places alone? No, I never have been. I'm really, really lucky in that respect. Just naturally, I don't get nervous about exploring and making friends. I'm a very bubbly person, so I know that I'll be able to make friends and approach people when I get places. But on top of that, I think it's really helpful that a lot of the places I've been going for work. So I know that I'm going to go working in a conservation setting, or at least tourism, where I know that my co-workers are going to be probably equally as enthusiastic as I am. I know that I can join beach cleanups. I just tried to say club and cleanup. And I know that wherever I go, because I'm near the ocean, there will be people who care about the ocean as much as I do. So I know that I'll be able to make friends. And as soon as you have a friend, when you're living abroad, you have a family. So yeah, I really, really enjoy it, and I hope I never ever have to stop, and I hope that the travel ban is lifted soon so that we can all carry on and keep travelling. If you have any more questions, feel free to hunt me down. I'm on social media as CatSharks is my Instagram handle. If you have any questions, I'm always here to answer them, and I hope we will be able to dive together one day soon. Thank you.